Hi everyone, this is Laura, and as promised, today I will bringing you um, a tutorial on how to make my what I'm calling my triangle fold card. Now, the original thought for this card was actually done by Dawn, who's Stampin' Up with Dawn. She's a Stampin' Up DT member. And so I just did a few twerks and a few tweaks and made it my own. And this is actually the card that I made for the Scrap the World Creative Card Fold Challenge. Unfortunately, I did not think far ahead enough. And I did not save any of the cards I made. I only made 2 cards and I already sent them out. So that was a lesson learned for next time. Have a finished product. But I did want to make the tutorial today. I didn't want to delay any further. So I apologize to all my friends ahead of time for not having the finished product. I hope this does not confuse anyone too much. But I do have the template in which I made the original card. And I want to go over that with you real quick. So I'm going to apologize ahead of time, guys, in case I do forget anything. This is going to be a very long video. I do not know how to do that fast forward processing stuff, nor do I know how to narrate over the fast forward part. And yesterday my hands were really bad, so I couldn't do the tutorial for you yesterday. Today they are better, but I'm still a little slow. They're still a little numb. So again, I apologize. I did do many steps ahead of time to try to not make this a 3-hour video, but it is what it is, and I guess I'll just give it a shot. So enough of the talk. You're going to start off with a card base that measures at 4.5 by 4.5. And I'm going to give you the measurements in case you guys want to cut out some papers and pause this and then cut and do it along with me. For the inside of the card, you're going to have a little card base and you get to embellish this. I'm just showing you it as the original. How do I word this? This is how the original card, except for the measurements. The measurements are totally mine. She did different measurements, but this was the original thought, and then I'll show you what I've done. So this card that goes inside, the outside pattern paper, which is the larger, is 3.5 by 3.5, and then the inside, which is a plain piece of cardstock, is 3.25 by 3.25, and that tucks into the fold. And then the fold part, which is already folded and you can't see it, should measure 4 by 12. So this is going to be a very long strip of paper. It's going to measure 4 by 12. And you're going to score it at 4 inches. And you're going to score it at 8 inches. And this is what that piece of paper is going to look like. Now, I'm using papers from the Secret Garden by Graphic 45. I just love. This is one of my favorite papers in that collection. So as you can see, I did score it, and you really want to try to use double-sided designer paper for this project, and it really should be of good quality cardstock. And when you're going to do the folding, but I'll get to that later. I don't want to confuse you there. So let me show you what I've already done ahead of time. I have my card base as I showed you, and this is 4.5 by 4.5, and I already stamped my little stampy there because I always forget and then I have a hard time. I distressed the insides of both both sides. I distressed with the forest moss. Then what I did was I cut the yellow plain cardstock just to give the base a little bit more sturdiness. I cut this at 4.25 by 4.25. And then what I did with my card is I put this floral trim all the way around it, this satin floral trim. I left this little piece here only because while I was actually taping this, my phone rang. And I already called my husband. I told him I am making a video, so if the phone should ring again while I'm doing this, I will not be answering it because I don't want to be interrupted again. But which works out fine because I saved a few minutes by so what I did was basically I used my hot glue gun, and I have my little hot glue fingers to make sure I don't burn myself. I think I only need one though. And these were gifted to me by E. Moran 78, which I totally love, guys. So if you have the opportunity to get those little glue fingers, go ahead and do so because they work like a charm. They have saved me from many, many burn boo-boos. So I just add this little floral trim because I think it gives it a really, really nice touch to all the edges. And there we go. And the other thing I love about these little hot, I was calling them hot spots, my little hot finger spots, is that when you press down on the glue, you don't get all those little nasty glue strings because there's something about the silicone that just squishes it right down. So this is my card base so far. This is what it looks like. And of course, I will go back and glue these little edges in some more, take off the strings, yada, 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 and fine tune the card. But this is what it looks like for the most part. And I just, for the sake of time, that's where we're going to leave that. So let me move this aside. That's the card base. Now we're going to work on the fold of the card. And one of the things that I did learn in making this card is whichever side it is that you want the card to show on the front of the card, meaning this side here, because this is the part that you're going to be looking at. You're not really going to be looking at the inside part here. If this is the side that you would like to see, and this is the side that I want to see, you want to make sure that that is faced down, I believe. I think that's what it was. Okay, so we're going to be doing this together. So what you want to do is you want to take this corner, and I don't know if you can see my folds. I already creased them really well when I scored them, and I already folded them so I know where they end and when they begin. You're going to take this fold and you're going to bring it down up to right before of that crease line, almost to the where it matches this side. And then you're going to take your bone folder, which I have right here, and you're just going to gently fold that down. Then you're going to go to this side, and as you can see, that's going to create the first fold. And I did it right. See, that's the paper that I wanted to show at the front of the card. So if this is the pattern you want to see, you want that one facing down. Okay, so now we're going to take this corner here and we're going to fold it up to this corner here, and we are going to create the next triangle fold. Now I have a problem working on my left side, so I'm just going to flip this over to my right side. And once again, I just want to make sure that it joins right here. I'm going to give it a quick little fold with my finger there just to help the fold out. And then I'm just going to use my bone folder and finish helping this little fold along. There we go. So there you have it. And this is now a triangle fold. And what we need to do is we need to glue the little flaps down. So let me get my ATG. And I just add glue to the very outside of the triangle fold. And at this point, if you wanted to distress the corners and such, now would be a nice time. I never bothered to distress the folds only because I really did not want the line in the middle to show. but I did distress the back of the base of the fold, which I will show you in a moment. And I just ran my ATG on the four corners, and you don't have to worry so much about the glue at this point, because the actual fold, however, I sometimes get little glue bits. Okay, let me move this out the way. I get these little glue bits from time to time, so I just want to make sure there's no glue bits. I'm running my fingers along there. So that's the fold. Now, to the bottom of this card here, and that's right along this edge, you're going to put some glue, and that's where you have to be careful, because this is the part that's going to create the pocket. So I don't want a lot. I'm going to go as far low as I possibly can, but at the same time I am going to do 2 strips, because I just want to make sure that that glue really stays in there good. And as you can see, I have some glue on my paper, and I don't know if you can see the thin line I have there. I just run my finger along here just to bring up those little the adhesive strips, so it doesn't show all that much. And then I'll just pick up the leftovers so my card doesn't stick to it, and get rid of that. So now we have the pocket. And now that we do have that pocket, hold on one sec, guys. I just need to I'm so sorry, guys. I still have the worst allergies, and I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so hopefully they can tell me something. Alrighty, there we go. Now that will go right on top of there like so, as you can see, and that will go there like that, and that will be the pocket on the inside. So now for the card base here, as I told you, this is 3.5 by 3.5, and the little piece of designer that I'm going to put in the center measures 3.25 by 3.25. Now I do want to distress these, and I do want to add a little bit of distress to my outside pocket here, and that's probably the only place on this card I will actually distress. I wanted to leave this one kind of clean, except for on the outside edges that I will distress, just to let the card, the little fold card, stand out and pop out a bit more. And again, this is Forest Moss Distressings by Tim Holtz. So I'm going to leave that there, and in the meantime I will distress all these little corners. And again, this is another little step that I think that I could have done ahead of time, but I didn't, and I do apologize for that, because I don't think you really needed to sit here and watch me distress this. But while I am doing this, I have a friend, and you guys may know her. Her name is Enchanted Steph, and she just created a blog where she's sharing a bunch of beautiful projects that she's making, and she has this little blog hop going on there right now for, I think it's Little Blue Button Studio. But in any case, if you want to go over and show her some love, that would be really, really nice. And you could tell her I sent you if you want. Just tell her Laura said to come on over and show you some love. So as you can see, I used my ATG. I glued all the corners down, and I created a pocket card. Yay! Now, what I wanted to show you guys was You can put a photo here and a message in the back, or you can just put a message in the back and a message in the front and a little message. You can decorate this however you want. Embellishing it is the least of our problems, right? Now, because of the camera, I made the same mistake twice again that I made in my other cards, but I have these little baby magnets. Now I want to show you what they look like. And I do find that the magnets do help the cards stay closed. I ordered these on eBay, and I just want to show you what they look like. I was told I was getting 20 magnets, and I thought it was a really, or was it 40? It might have been 40. But this is what they look like. Yeah, can you believe it? But they said they were super strong. I had no clue when I purchased these that they were this tiny. Now, guys, I'm not kidding you when I tell you how tiny they are. Look at this. I need my tweezers to pick this up. This is how tiny it is. But they weren't lying when they said they were super strong. And I find these magnets work beautifully for these cards. So I am going to put this little magnet right here with my Scotch glue. And I don't want too much glue because then it won't work. So oh, that was the other problem. My tweezers are made out of metal, so it doesn't want to come off that easy in the beginning. So I put the little magnet there. You see that? And that way nobody can tell it's there. And then the other little magnet I put on the tip here because I knew that's where the card would close. And where's the magnet? Oh, here it is. It's so teeny tiny. Okay, and that's gonna work as my lock closure for my card. I thought it might be nice to add a little piece of vellum to this here, but I'm not sure. No, I'm thinking maybe not. I'm not too sure what I want to do with that. Maybe you guys could help me out with that. But because I'm running out of time, I think I'll just leave that out. Okay, so I am going to glue this down to the base, and for this I am going to use my Scotch glue. And then on this side, just to be extra safe, I'm going to add 2 strips of hot glue. And now I will glue this down to the card base, hoping that I have it as centered as I possibly can. And that's that. And now I want to check on my magnets, and hopefully the glue didn't cover the little magnet. Oh, it did. It got covered. All right. I'm going to have to leave that magnet for the end because it totally got covered. All right. I'll just leave those there for now. And now we can tuck our little card in like so. And now for the outside of the card, I have this little Spellbinders die cut that I pre-cut, and I also have this punch and stamp that says thank you, and this came from the Miss Caroline stamp set, which I just realized after I stamped it I put it in backwards. And this is by My Mind's Eye, and this is one of my most favorite stamp sets that they made, mostly because of the little dominoes. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is the punch right there. So I punched that out with Forest Moss, and I am just gonna use some Distress ink here. And I'm just going to ink this up. I'm also going to ink up the edges here, which I have not done. And this is actually going to go on some adhesive, 3D adhesive, just to give it some pop. That's a little too big. So I have my adhesive, my foam, just to give it some added dimension. And I'm going to put that right in the middle there. And then to this, what I did was I added some of this teeny tiny flat back pearls just to give it some extra zhuzh.